So first question about you. How long have you been playing guitar and how did you get this passion?
Um, I've been playing maybe now about 12 years, I think it must be. I think
Mm,
like properly maybe 8 years or something like that. I think initially it was just I don't know, just a hobby like anybody else really. It was just something to do, something fun to do. But I think seriously taking like actually practicing and actually trying to get what you want out of it, it must have been yeah, about 8 years, I'd say. So
mm,
trying to play with people and trying to be a musician, I think it's probably been about that long.
okay,
Um, yeah, it must have been. Yeah.
okay. And how did you get this passion? Where did you
How did
start?
I get? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it was just obviously to do with what music was around me. I think it was more like I was quite fascinated with like AC/DC and bands like that. So it's which is a bit weird. I mean, it doesn't come across as much now, but like it was definitely that sort of thing then. So yeah, Angus Young and people like that, more rock guitar players and Hendrix and people like that. So it's like I had quite an old school backing and old school inspiration, I suppose, of like the old blues rock guys, I suppose. Yeah, it must have been that, to be honest. I mean, I wasn't into jazz or anything like that. I didn't like
Okay,
even probably know who Miles Davis was, to be honest. But it was just like that. That's what it was. Yeah.
okay, nice. Second question. Where do you live and is it a good place for musicians?
Yeah, I live in a little town called Leek, which is like it's a good place, to be honest. I mean, it's like it's in between so many different places. Like you've got I don't know if you've heard of Manchester.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's like the closest big city. But then you've got a
Okay,
place called Stoke on Trent where Slash was born. I don't know if you know where that's.
no.
That's like the other side. That's like pretty close to us anyway. So that's like they've got like loads of different places really. So I can sort of go in between and like work with different people from different parts of the country and quite easily. So it's a decent place, but actually in the town itself, there's not a lot happening musically. But it's quite like it's like a bit of it's a cool place to come to and like shed. Do you know what I mean? It's because you're not in anybody's way, or it's like you're in your own space pretty much, which is cool. So it works all right. I mean, it's not the best if you want to get a lot of money though, or a lot of gigs or anything like that. But I mean, it helps. It helps. It's all good.
Okay,
There's a lot of good supportive people here though, so it's really cool, and a lot of talented musicians as well, which is really weird. There's really talented people around here who do the same sort of thing and travel out and do stuff like that. But
okay. Third question. Uh, who was your first influence and why?
yeah, I suppose again, like I said before, it's probably Angus Young. To be honest,
That's your
yeah,
your
it's
first
probably.
guitar hero?
I think he was, man. Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
and why?
I just loved like he had like a really direct, like stinging approach to his playing. Do you know what I mean? Like you knew it was him. Do you know what I mean? He had a really characteristic, even though it was really simple. Like he just plugged straight into an amp. He didn't use any pedals or anything like that. And he was always like really musically appealing as well because everything he played was like really on it. Do you know what I mean? It was like it was in it. It was in the track. It was really musical and it wasn't like overstated. It was just really just perfect. Do you know what I mean for that sort of track and the energy was right. And I think that a lot of that sort of stuff I try and keep to this day when playing. Do you know what I mean? It's trying to keep like a concept of what fits with the track musically and tonally and just the energy, the overall energy of it. Like it's
Mm,
quite a stinging approach. Quite like that approach, that sort of grab people. Do you know what I mean? It really cool. But yeah, I think Angus was definitely, and also the fancy duck walk and stuff like that. I love that. I love all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's probably why, man. It's probably good.
okay, nice. Next question. Who are the other musicians who have influenced you the most over the years and why?
Um, I think the first sort of guy you sort of made me really consider what the guitar could be. I think it was probably like Guthrie. I think seeing Guthrie. It was actually seeing Guthrie on television in the UK. I don't know if you've heard of Dizzy Rascal, the rapper.
Yes, yes, of course.
You seen the video when he did? He was playing with him. I think that was the first time because I didn't have internet growing up. Pretty much, I didn't have internet until I was like maybe 15, 16. So I relied a lot on like what I saw on TV and CDs and stuff, which probably helped me a little bit. But I think it was seeing Guthrie Govan play acoustic guitar. He was playing this rap song, and I remember seeing that, and that just like freaked me out. And I got to find out who this guy was. Pretty much, like I thought it was Jesus first, but I know he was like that. But yeah, definitely, I think Guthrie, he was the first guy who really sort of scared me. And then obviously like Joe Satriani, people like that, I was really into that sort of music. And those guys, Steve Vai. But I think another big guy, I think Eric Johnson, he was just for the melodicisms and like his musical approach, his whole approach to music. Yeah, like I think he's probably my favorite guitar player, I'd say, probably. And then obviously discovering Sean Lane off that was like a really big thing. I think Sean's probably one of my favorites as well. I think probably those guys, and then other guys like Tommy Emmanuel. I think he was quite a big influence as well. Like surprisingly, but it's just his approach as well, and his like dexterity on the instrument, and just how rhythmic everything is, and how just immediate his playing is. I think that had a really big effect on me in trying to get that down. Another one, Albert Lee as well. He was quite a big one earlier on. Yes. The country guitar player. Because I try and like adopt that approach to playing leads in like rock music, where it's really fluent and like it's almost got that country edge to it in that jazz, that jazz sort of setting. So I love that playing about it, and it's really rhythmic as well, especially when you transcribe his lines. He's got a really rhythmic approach. Yeah, I think those were probably the early guys. I think that really helped me out. Because it's quite weird, really, because I sort of got into those guys first before I got into like the blues guys and people who played less. This is usually the case, isn't it? But like, it was definitely like those sorts of guys, those sort of shredder guys first, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Do you play other instruments?
Yeah, I play. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. That keyboard here. Can you see that?
Okay, keyboard.
Yeah, I play that. It really helps, to be honest, for like composition and stuff like that. Sort of try and like approach it the same way I do with guitar, but it seems almost like easier to learn to play keyboards than it is to play guitar and to get like harmonically developed. It seems like it's all there in front of you instead of on guitar where you've got to try and study. You got to really study to get really good. I think, especially technically as well. Yeah, but I think on piano it seems easier. But yeah, I play that, and then play bass as well. Because I'm really into loads of bass players. Like Mono Neon, people like that. It's like he's one of my favorite musicians. But yeah, those are the only two really, man. It's just that and guitar. It's just those two and guitar. Just to really to facilitate like recording and trying to like write stuff. Because I suppose when you're not around that many musicians, you've got to try and learn to do stuff yourself, or learn to, especially write and compose like that, and try and facilitate what you're trying to do and put across what you want to do. But yeah, those are the only influences. So I'm not an expert by any stretch. Anyway, I'm nothing really, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Gear and guitar playing. What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was first proper guitar was a Gibson SG, actually, because it was obviously the Angus Young thing. Yeah, the SG standard. I still got it. It's in this case over there, but it doesn't get used anymore, which is a shame, really. It's a really good guitar. But yeah, that was the first proper guitar. Yeah.
Nice choice. What instruments, pedal and amp, picks, string are you currently playing with?
I've got these picks. Eric Johnson.
Just three?
Yeah,
Okay.
these ones. Yeah, I use them. I've been using them for years. I used to use the stubby jazz picks. You know, the little purple picks. I don't know if you've seen them. Like the really thick picks. It's called a stubby, pretty much.
I think I have one or
Yeah,
two.
yeah. I mean, they were great, but I sort of changed to them because they seem easier almost because they're quite a direct edge. I don't know if
Mhm.
you do you use these? Do you use these sort of jazz free picks?
I used just three, but
Yeah, it's a similar sort of thing.
you have a
Yeah, it's
different
like
plastic.
it's like I think they based quite a lot of them off these. These are like the '80s ones, I think.
Mm.
But, they work great, man. They're just well, I don't really take too much notice about picks and stuff like that because I think a lot of it comes down to like your own technique. I
Mm-hmm.
think they only make minimal difference, don't they? I mean, like you probably played with loads of picks throughout. I mean, I used to play with those massive picks that you could like you pick with a bass, you know, those like really thick, like triangular ones. I used to use them, but I think they're quite good because they don't get in the way and they don't really affect the tone that much. And they're just like the rope of interpretation really and how you want to use them, which is really cool. But yeah, strings, I use Ernie Ball 10s, so 10 to
Mm-hmm.
46, 10 to 46 usually. But yeah, they're good. Or Diodario. Yeah, any really, man. I don't really try and take too much like notice of like the gear as much. Like it's got to come more from the sound to me. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? It's like I don't think it makes that much difference, but yeah, that's what I'm using at the minute anyway.
Okay. So, what's your main guitar?
My main guitar is a Sir Telecaster that I usually use. I haven't got it on. I haven't got it on.
Yellow one.
Oh, the yellow one as well. No, the Sir Telecaster.
Ah,
It's
the Telecaster. Yes, we can
it's
see.
not it's not.
Like.
This is the no. This is the yellow guitar. I don't know if you've.
Mm.
It looks white in some of my videos because I put like a black filter on. But yeah, it's
Mm.
just like you can't buy these though. It's a
Oh.
it's a T-bird. It's not a Sir. I think a few people think it's a Sir.
Okay.
I mean, the neck looks really cool on it. I mean, it's something that somebody built me actually. It was this guy called Dave Holland. He's like he lives around in the next town from where I am. He
Okay.
builds guitars. It's called T-Bird Guitars, and he doesn't. I mean, he built it for nothing for me, which is really nice of him. It's a great guitar, but it's
Yeah.
I don't really use it live that much, to be honest, because the Sirs are a bit better quality, even though this is amazing. But it sounds great on videos, and like you can hear like the pick
Mhm.
scratches sometimes when you're playing it. But yeah, I've got that, but I think the main guitar is like the Sir Telly. That's like the main thing I use, which is yeah, it's probably the best guitar I've played, to be honest. Just for overall feel and just I don't know if you played a Sir guitar. Yeah,
As a
played one.
lefty, I'm a lefty. It's hard to
You're
have
left.
a
You're
drum.
left. Right.
Yeah.
Oh god, man, you should try one. That it's really great. If you ever get a chance to, if you ever build left-handed guitars, I don't know. I've never seen a left-handed Sir,
Mm.
but they're just so good, man. Yeah, I use that. That's probably the first favorite, and then I use a 339, a Gibson 339 as well, which are
Ah, yes.
discontinued now.
Yeah. On some videos with Scott Ralph.
That's it. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the funky one. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, man. That's a great guitar. I mean, um, yeah, that was how many years ago? I forgot, like 3 years ago or something. It's just they're really great though. I mean, they're discontinued now. I think it's like a 2009 model. I think I don't know. But that's a great guitar because I'm really small, so like so like trying to get like I used to have like a 335, but it used to be massive. I think it like killed my back if I tried playing that or tried standing up with it all the time. So that is like a perfect balance between like a Les Paul and a 335 pretty much, which really works great. And it's just like the only guitar apart from like a Collins, which is ridiculous amounts of money that you could get that like just suits that, and you can really, yeah, it's just a cool guitar. It's just a really nice guitar to play as well. Really easy, and it sounds great acoustically as well, which is really
nice.
a really good. Yeah.
What? Sorry. What amp do you use? Amps?
I've got at the minute I just got a Fender Pro Reverb, which is like a new amp they brought out this year.
Okay.
Which is, it's a bit like it's like 68 pretty much, like a reissue of a 68 Fender amp. It sounds great. I mean, that's usually what I use for amps. I don't go for all the Bogner and stuff like that. I usually like use like a clean solid combo amp, which like I can put loads of pedals on instead and like get my drive sound out of that.
Yes.
I've got a Supro as well. I mean, I can't twist my computer around to show you, but like they're over here. But like yeah, I've got a Supro. Hang on a minute. That's a Keeley Supro. So that's like, it was like they built it specifically for like people who use pedals and want to get like the sound out of the amp via the pedals. So it's just like a clean platform really, just so I can do what I want. That's where it usually comes from, like a lot of the sounds I make. But yeah, I'm using them too really. Those are the only amps in there. I've got a PV Classic 30 as well, which is probably on loads of the old videos I was using. I think on most of the old videos actually, I was using that just plugged in here. So it's like, that's why quite a lot of people liked them, because it was like a live amp instead of like a simulated XFX or whatever. I forget. It sounded quite big. Do you know what I mean? And really fits it. Like, it does something with the sound, especially when you're playing along to a CD or an MP3. I think it really suits in with the track more, and it gives it more of a live vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
yeah. That's
okay. Maybe what's your 3 favorite pedals?
guitars.
Pedals.
Pedals. Sorry, man.
Pedals.
3 favorite pedals. I think at the minute, I've got a TS-808 tube screamer, and that's been on my board since I started gigging, maybe about 10 years ago or something like that. Yeah, that's been there for ages. I mean, it's pretty faulty now, but like it still works. It's still, I can't get rid of it because it's just like, it's been with me all the time. So it's probably that. I got a really cool J-Rocket audio flex drive pedal, which is really cool. I mean, I got onto that. Mark Lettieri used to use them years ago before he uses the setup he's got now. But he used to use that. I saw an old video of him playing that, and I was like, oh, I need to get it. But they've been discontinued since. But I had to sort of found that, and that's really cool, man. It's like a plexi in a box, pretty much. Like a plexi amp in a box. It's really, really nice. Especially when using clean amps, you need like a really dirty pedal to help, do you know what I mean, bring that sound out. And probably, I don't know, man, this is a tough one. It's between the Flashback or the really, really cheap classic chorus that I've got. Like, that people think I've got this really expensive chorus pedal, but it's not. It's like the really, really cheap one. Yeah, it's like a fake pedal pretty much. It's called a Joyo. I got it for nothing. My friend gave it to me for free.
Okay.
But it's like yeah, it's a classic chorus. It must be worth about 30 quid, but on every single chorus sound I've got on every video, pretty much it's that pedal. So it sounds pretty good, to be honest. But yeah, but besides that, it's probably the TC Electronic Flashback, the little pedal as well. But that's it, man. That's about it, really. I mean, I've got a Chiba Sir Overdrive as well, which is a really, really nice one, and a roof. Oh, I've got this on hand here. Yeah, I've got this one as well. This is a really cool pedal. It's a Rufus.
I've never seen this one.
Yeah, it's like Rufus Reloaded. It's a really, really nice pedal. I'd recommend it. Yeah, I'd recommend it if you like fuzz pedals, but they're not too dirty. That's a really, really nice pedal. And
fuzz pedal with a good sustain.
What's that, man?
A good fuzz pedal, but with a good sustain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. Yeah, it's got like an octave up switch on it as well. I mean, when you click the switch twice,
Mm.
it's got like a really, really nice octave, which is it sounds really like evil as well when you play loads of power chords with it, or like when you get really aggressive with it. Like there's a video. I think we were doing the Fat Pigeon thing. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like it must have been it was a few years ago now, but it's with Strawberry Break, and it's I think I'm using that pedal. Sounds like just a really aggressive octave, but it's that pedal anyway. I use that quite a bit. I must have used that on a few different videos, but yeah, that's about it really, man, for pedals. Apart from I've got a MXR Dynacomp as well, which is like a compression. I usually use that for like boosting solos and like like funky clean patches. I usually stick that on, and it does a trick. But yeah, that's about it, man, for pedals.
Can you talk a little bit about your other guitars?
Yeah, my other guitars. Yeah, I've got I didn't mention I've got like it's a Strat as well. And I've got like two Stirs. Well, like,
The white one?
The white ones, the yellow one I showed you.
Okay.
It just it looks white in the videos because I put like a different filter on it.
Yes.
But that's what it is. It's a yellow guitar.
Okay.
Right. You're not the first to ask that either. But yeah, it's a yellow one. Yeah, that's the T-Bird. Yeah, I've got like this classic S Strat as well, which I use. I don't know. I think I've used it in a few videos. I think that one you sent to me, that live one where I'm doing that solo and in that pub. I think that's the Sir. That's the other Sir. Yeah, that's a really nice guitar. Really great. It's like sounds totally different to most Strats I've played, but it's really, really cool. Really, really nice. It plays really well, and it's almost like too good. The guitar's like too good. It's just like too easy to play. It's just really, really, it's like a dream to play it. But yeah, I've got what else have we got? So I got that's about it really, man, for guitars like I use. Like I don't really get loads of guitars and hoard them. I mean I've got this as well. It's like a Maton acoustic. It's like
Oh, nice.
it's like a mini guitar. It's like a parlor guitar pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a really, really nice acoustic, and it's like it smells as well. I mean, you can't smell it over this, but like the wood really smells really, really nice.
Mm.
But yeah, it's like a semi-acoustic. That's just for any gigs where I've got to do like a play of a singer or something like that, or where I've got to do a little bit acoustic soloing on anything. I mean, there should be. I think I've got some videos to post actually playing this. It sound really, really good. But yeah, that's about it, man, for guitars. I mean, I've got a few like bits and pieces guitars as well. Got, like, can you see that Telecaster over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like. Yeah, I'll grab it in a minute. Yeah, this is like it's like pretty much a Squire Telecaster, and it's like got a different neck on it. I mean, I put a different it's like this company called All Parts in the UK. It's like build different neck specifications. Because this was originally like a Squire Telly, really. It's really like it's quite a cheap guitar. I mean, the only thing that's original on it is the body, and I got like a different innards for it from this place called Northwest Guitars, and a different pickup on it. It's got like a quarter pounder pickup. It's got a different. Yeah, it's called Northwest Guitars, but it's
Okay.
it's
Nice.
like a different input on it as well. I mean, it's a really sturdy guitar, but I think I used to have this as like a baritone thing.
A Sinner neck?
What's that? Yeah, small neck.
Yes. Okay.
It's quite it's a nice neck. Really, really nice guitar. I mean, yeah, that's it doesn't really get used that much though, to be honest. I mean, it used to be I took the scratch plate off it, and I used to I don't know if you've seen it. Like there's some really old videos where I'm using it as like a baritone.
Yeah. The Mark Literary.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah, really. Yeah, like that sort of vibe. But I don't think it did the guitar any good because it's not a baritone guitar, and I put like really thick strings on it. And I think it fucked with the neck a little bit. I think it like stretched the neck, but now it just lives as a normal 6-string plucker now, and it's just like a blues machine one, anything blues and country sort of. But it used to have like it's had like 7 different necks on it. This has because you always got like a different neck or try a different thing with it.
What is the string gauge on this one?
This is what, mate?
The strings gauge. Is it 10 to 52?
I think it's this now is 10 to 46, like on everything really. But I used to have 13s on it, 13. So I don't know, is it 56 or I don't know the exact gauge, but it was I used to have 13s when I was trying to get that baritone sound. I used to tune it down to B or A. But yeah, man, that gets a little bit of use. I mean, besides for that, that's it really. That's all the guitars I need to play and that. I mean, I wish I had more arms so I could try and like play so many at once. But yeah, that's about it really. But that's all I need at the minute.
Okay, next question. If you could add your own signature guitar, what will be its specifications?
I think it would kind of be like this guitar. Yeah, probably only because of the color to me. Like, I think with this guitar, I'd probably like put another 2 frets on it, and possibly like I always wanted to do like a Strat with 7 strings. So like a string up, like a B as well, or like a 7-string version of this, pretty much. But like a little bit more like the Sean Lane model guitar, like the Vijay.
The VGA,
something like that. Yeah, the VGA. Yeah. Maybe like a different trem system on it as well, because this is more like a Strat system. But I'd probably like have more of a floating sort of bridge. Yeah, because I used to use that sort of guitar all the time before Instagram. I used to use Ibanez and those sorts of guitars. So I sort of matured really fast, like using Strats and Telecasters. But it was it's probably Richie Kotzon's fault. I think that was the Telecaster using that. That was like quite a big thing. It's quite like that sort of organic sound still. So I'd try and it would either be like this sort of shape, it'd be like a Strat sort of shape or a Tele shape, but just with 24 frets probably, and like the floating trem, like similar to the ones on the Sir guitars. But because you use Ibanez, don't you?
Yes, I have this one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's really nice.
Too thin neck. The neck is really thin.
Yeah. This is the dream to play though, aren't they? But I bet do you have a nightmare trying to set it up?
Sorry, what?
It's like a pain in the ass to try and like get it to go in tune and set up right, and like you've got to balance the bridge.
Yeah, I have a fixed bridge, so
you got a fixed bridge, have you? Right?
Yeah, look like a Floyd, but it's not.
Right. Oh no way.
That's
where's the fun in that though?
The side end.
Right.
It's really nice, very comfortable.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd probably because I remember trying to like having guitars like that, especially ones with like bridges, like floating bridges, like the Floyd Rose style. I remember it just being like you wanted to like smash the guitar up after 10 minutes to try and get it in tune because it's just an absolute nightmare to try and deal with.
Yeah.
So maybe like something like just like the Sir bridges are the best ones because you don't even have to touch them really because they're so well set up and they're so just like they work perfectly. Same with the the Dera PRS guitars. They have that sort of style bridge on them that's just really. I mean, if you ever get a chance to own one or play one, they're really good. So
did you try the VGA Sean Lane models?
I've tried that one, yeah, and it's a great guitar. It's a different sort of vibe to the Sir guitars. it's a bit more like an Ibanez guitar compared to the Suhrs I've got anyway. I mean, there's different Suhrs, but yeah, I think I'd have something in between. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get a balance of, because I like both things, but I like to, in my playing, to have like the possibility to go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? And like have every ground covered. Which I don't think there's possibly been a guitar like made like that yet. I think there's only a few things that can cover everything. Apart from the new what's the new PRSs, the Lateri ones. I think he's got the guitar. He's tried to make a guitar like that, which is, it covers all ground, doesn't it? Because his playing, so it does. He covers all ground with his playing as well. He just goes from like metal to funk and jazz. You know, I mean, wherever he goes, like I kind of need a guitar like that, because I try and go everywhere, like try and do every sort of style to a certain degree. I'm not a master of any of them, but yeah, just I need a guitar that, because I got like a really short attention span, so I need to like have a guitar that can do everything pretty quick, or like, especially tonally, it just opens more barriers really. Yeah, it's just the way to go. I think it's the way forward, especially for what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I'd have. But maybe like a humbucker in the bridge as well. That'd probably be better, because at the minute it's just a single coil, and maybe like a split. There's no split on this or anything, so that's quite good having like the option for like a humbucker as well, so you don't have to take a second guitar to a gig. Even though I like that sort of out of phase Strat sound.
Next question: how do you approach the composition?
Well, I don't know, man. It's a weird one. I think it depends where you're writing from. I think you can either do the approach of trying to like wrestle with an idea, or you've got a concept. I think usually what I write from is like whatever comes out naturally, and I just record straight away, because it's a weird one with writing music. It's like I think you've got to flow with it, because you don't know what it is. Like, I don't think anybody knows what it is exactly, do they, where it comes from or where these ideas sort of stir from. So I think you've got to, as soon as something comes out, you've got to try and go with it then in that second, and try and like follow it. Especially with like writing guitar music, because it's probably harder than writing any other sort of music, because you've got to have a load of interest. It's either got to be really groovy, or it's got to be technical or whatever. And I think if you get like so many different aspects down, if you get like with this sort of music, you need to mess around and try and write ideas and just let them organically like stir, and then try and work on it from there. Then just try and like go with it in the moment, because I think you could try and, I think most of the songs or sort of ideas, songs, which hopefully they'll be releasing soon enough. Like I keep putting it off, but I think most of those ideas, it sort of organically came, and they wrote themselves in maybe half an hour or something like that. So they all come straight away. I don't think it's hard to write from a place of just keep going over it and over and over it. I think you need to the best of your ability, just go with it and try and come up with the best thing in the now. Do you know what I mean? In the moment. That's the best way of writing. I mean, I know people like Scott Ralph, who I work with, the drummer and the singer. I mean, he was a professional writer, and he used to write for pop stars and stuff like that, and do all that sort of business, where he'd have to have a brief, and then he'd write from that. You try and, I mean, my brain doesn't really work like that as much. Like, I need to have like some sort of, the same with you probably, man, when you get an inspiring little lick or riff, then you've got that intention, haven't you, then, to try and write from that. So you always need something, I think, but you've got to try and, I think, help yourself and putting yourself in that mindset to write. You've got to have that intention of trying to write. So when you know you're trying to, because if you just go about it like you're not really bothered, and you're just going to let it fall from the stars, it's not always going to work. So you need to have like that in between of, you're open for it to come, but you're also you're also, do you know what I mean, you're doing the best you possibly can to put yourself in that mindset to do that. I mean, and that usually comes from being in like an inspired state. I mean, if you see something or if you take inspiration from like events outside of playing, I think that's a really big thing as well. I think especially concepts and nature and stuff like that, and the world around us. I think that's the only thing you can write about, really. I think that's where it all comes from, because we're all from that place. So it's like we're giving back to it in a way.
Mhm.
I think that's what it all is, and that's why we connect with it, because it's like we're telling the story of life in a way. I think that's what it is. I think you've got to just, if you have intent to do it, but you're not forcing yourself to do it, that's the perfect place to be in to write. I think, and like you said, if you, it's like, again, it all to do with like what your style is as well on the instrument, or how you play, and who inspires you as well. That's a big thing. I mean, that's a huge thing, who you listen to and what music you take into. I mean, if you take in a lot of music, a lot of different things, you'll be very surprised quickly. You'll come up with a lot more ideas. I mean, I listen to everything, man. Like, I listen to pop music, probably more than anything else, to be honest. The all old jazz, swing, whatever. Just, I think if you take out everything in, and you try and find your own angle on it, I think that's the best possible way of going about writing and trying to form your own artistic identity instead of just waiting for it. I think that's the big thing. But you've got to always have that stream open and keep that open, which is tough. I mean, especially in the world we're living in now, because it's not the best time to be living, but especially as a musician. I think we can sort of learn from it and try and stay inspired to the best of their ability, because I think we need it, don't we? We need that sort of music, and we need everybody needs inspiring, and we need to spread it around a bit. But yeah, I'm no expert on composition though, but that's sort of the foundation I try and have. Do you know what I mean? The mindset anyway. I try and keep when I'm going out trying to write, or when stuff happens, I just try and go with it.
But I know you are an expert on improvisation. So how do you approach improvisation?
Improvisation. It's the same sort of thing, man. I've got the same sort of mindset with that. I think a lot of it comes from inspiration. Like I was really inspired by really great improvisers when I was younger. A big person to help for that is probably like Swann and people like that. Especially for like facility on the guitar.
Do you sing what you play?
I can do, yeah. There's that stream open in my mind. I can definitely, especially when I'm really in it and I'm really like in that flow state. Yeah, I can predict what I'm doing. But I use my ears a lot. I think my ears and what's feeling good, like here, instead of thinking about it. And I think it's like, I think the best way to go about that is by like really studying who you like as an improviser and trying to figure out a few ways of how they get into the moment when they're improvising. So it could be through an approach rhythmically, melodically, anything like that. I think you need to study every single little bent in how people improvise. So that could be, instead of licks, I'm not like a lick player. Like, I know one of the questions you were going to ask is like, what favorite licks? I haven't got anything like that. Like, it's not. I don't play like that anymore. Like, that's not my thing. But it's I love people who do it though. I love people who do that sort of approach, but it doesn't do it for me. Like, I think it's got to be like what's happening musically. I think you've got to take that in and ingest that first. So whatever, it's like Sean Lane's music. It wasn't just his playing that inspired me. It's like I really liked his music and how melodic it was, and just the overall vibe of it. And I think if you take a lot of music in like that, it starts to come across in how you play and your sensibility as a musician and how you improvise. A lot of a good thing of practicing improvisation as well is like, I know Pat Metheny used to do it. He's like, I think I got when I was younger, I was very selective about what I played, and everything I played had to have a point. And I think your brain naturally makes connections to stop you and limit you from playing certain things that aren't going to go anywhere. And I think it's like a building block off that. And I think the more you study jazz, it helps a lot. even not for just playing over standards and doing stuff like that. I think it's just more for how you approach improvising as a way of like, you've got an individual unit of information, and it's how you take that and how you span that out. And I think if you study these great players, you always start with a nucleus, don't they, or like a cell, or like a place of a beginning in a solo. It could be anything. It could be a little rhythmic idea or something like that, which a lot of my solos do. It's just like it starts with something rhythmic, simple, bluesy. Do you know what I mean? And then it progresses from there and gets more complicated. I love that idea of just like a development in anything like that, in a solo especially, because it adds interest, keeps people interested. And that's where I go from. And I think I just go with it because like most of the videos I do, like it's all improvising. It's just one take. So like I'm not thinking about doing anything. I'm not thinking about an approach or anything like that. I think it's more just like trying to get connected with what's going on musically, with whatever it is, the backing track or the band. And I think that's the way I practiced for years. I've tried to play along with CDs and like really love the music, but I tried to be like almost like I was in that CD. So whatever was playing, I played as a sensibility to try and keep myself in that, as if I was listening to me being on that CD. That's the way I played, pretty much.
Okay.
That coupled with practicing technique and that sort of stuff. Because obviously I'm a guitar player at the end of the day. I'm not like a saxophonist or whatever, but if you keep it all open to being notes, you could study everything. I think if you get like an approach of trying to study so many, say like 3 or 4 players you really like who improvise, and it resonates with what you want and what you like musically, because you're trying to study what they're doing musically in the track and get some ideas about how they, especially at the parts of the solos. So you got like the beginning, middle, and end of it, how they go about building energy and building ideas and stuff like that. If you study that, transcribe that, it all sort of comes out in your playing and the sensibility of where you are musically. And then I think the most important part of that is if you like you study actually playing along to music instead of just transcribing on its own, because you need to put that into practice. I think that's how I went about it anyway. I've always done that. I still do that. I don't practice like a traditional way of just scales and whatever and doing all that stuff. I mean, it is important. You need to do that. But I think that's, overall, you've got to keep the emphasis on music. I think that's the big picture, isn't it? I mean, that's the way anybody connects with anybody musically. Regardless of how good of a guitar player you are, you need that sensibility in your playing to come across and connect with people. And if you've got that, I mean, if it's through a rhythmic way or a melodic way or anything like that, as long as it's got flow and it connects with the music, I think that's the most important thing. So that's how I approach it anyway, and that's how I've always practiced like that. Always practiced. I mean, even studying, getting more into jazz and stuff like that, I still kept the principles the same way of studying every single music. It's always been about trying to play what's required, or in your mind, keeping all those, I suppose, just the flow open. It's just trying to keep that flow and that energy. So whatever ideas you're transcribing, it's like you sort of add it to your database of information that you can naturally pour out when you're improvising. It's tough, but it's like just trying to get in that mindset of doing that instead of thinking about it as like a hard task of transcribing it and then maybe taking an idea and then you don't know where it's going to go. So if you transcribe something as a part of a solo, there's always like, sometimes if you watch people improvise who struggle with it, you see sometimes there's like ups and downs, isn't there, in the solos? Like sometimes something connects and sometimes something's just like, what you're doing, like it doesn't make sense. I think you need a bigger picture and think of the bigger scope of what you're doing. And that's why sometimes transcribing full solos is a really good thing, a really good idea. And then trying to put into place, trying to just copy the feel of it and the flow of it, of who you like and what solos. And I think if you do enough for that, you get enough information under your fingers, which you can start trying to do your own thing on it. That's always how I've done it. I mean, I was big on like, I did a lot on Guthrie as well, just trying to get, because I love the way he plays. Like everything's got a flow to it and everything sort of goes somewhere. And I think if you transcribe enough of these guys and like, especially how they go full length on the solos, and just like the time span, or how they play over a certain amount of time. Anyway, if you try and ingest that amount of information and just try and cop where it goes rhythmically or melodically, or just with feel, do you know what I mean? And how many notes they're using, even if you mess up, I think that's the best way. Just trying to cop the flow and the feel first, and then add the extras later. I think that's the best way of doing it. That's why I think studying blues and stuff like that, and especially if you love it, is a really great way of doing it. Great way of improvising. It teaches you a lot about space in playing and being emotive, because that's the big thing, man. I think if these guys said you can be as good as you want, or if it doesn't connect emotionally or rhythmically or excite somebody when they listen to it, it's you're only going to have a load of guitar players looking at it, which is not a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing, but it doesn't work for me. Like, you need to be musically appropriate for people so they get it. Do you know what I mean? And so you're satisfying so many different people with what you do, which is, I think, is a musician's job at the end of the day, because you're supposed to entertain. I think that's the big thing, isn't it? Like being an entertainer, or being just trying to entertain people and bring some joy in the world instead. And that's the big thing anyway. That's a big thing for me, how I practiced it. Like it's just I've taken just a whole lot of influences from whoever you like, and just trying to put them back again in your own way. And that's how people develop the styles and the way of being in music, and that comes across in the writing and everything. I think it helps doing that. When you try and get in the mindset of certain people who you admire, I think that's the best way of doing it.
Okay, good advice. Next question. So you don't have a favorite lick, but do you have a favorite chord?
I don't know, to be honest, man. I don't think of music like that as a favorite whatever. I mean, it's I don't know. I probably play this chord like a million times a day. It's probably like this guitar's probably like stupidly out of tune. Yeah, it's probably like that chord I probably play like more than anything. I just love that voicing, that really, really, really nice voicing. Oh, the big stretches, like the big sort of minor 9 sort of chords. I like those sorts of things. Or like I like quite small, like the small little those little like in between chords. I really like them as well. But I don't really have a favorite sort of thing, to be honest. I mean, sometimes when you have favorites, it sort of limits your scope. I think sometimes it's like you pick up all these different things to sort of help you grow musically, and then you can add that to your music. So it's like, I think you should just pick up anything, any different chord or any little chord, as simple as or complex as it is, and you can add it to your own thing. I think that's a good way of going about it, instead of picking out a favorite thing. Because sometimes you just do that thing all the time then, and people get sick of it. Like, I don't know, like, maybe, I don't know, it's my take on it. But...
Okay. What techniques are you good at, and what flaws would you like to improve?
Techniques. I'm probably like pretty decent at picking now, to a certain degree. I think. I mean, I'm not like the fastest guitar player or anything like that. Like, they used to be really, really, really quick, but I think I did some sort of damage to my hands, like trying to play really, really quick all the time. So I suppose I think I got quite like the tone I get sometimes. I think I really dig that. I think I get quite a decent. I hope so. Anyway, I get a decent tone out of it, and quite like, I suppose my hammer-on stuff, my legato stuff, it's not too bad. But I think picking overall, that's probably the main sort of thing I use to get ideas across. I think other areas, I mean, I'd love to delve like more into more legato stuff again. I used to be really into that. Maybe more ideas like that, but I don't really use it anymore. I don't really think of techniques as such. I think it's more just trying to like do whatever works best for you to get the ideas across you can. I mean, yeah, I'd love to like sweep pick at about 500 BPM, but It's like sometimes you can't even hear what's happening, can you, when you're doing that? I mean, at the minute, I think I'm just trying to learn to play even less and play even less more confidently. So maybe that, man, it's just playing less, even less than I'm doing. And just really learn about space in music, do you know what I mean? And like, not having to do loads of stuff, even though loads of stuff is cool and you can really connect it well, and it's great, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing, but just sometimes just trying to make the bits that have got loads of stuff really stand out more because you've put a load of space in there. I think that's what I'm trying to do at the minute, just trying to get better at doing that. It's not so much a technique, but it's a technique in music, isn't it? I mean, trying to use space or trying to use less. It's the constant goal, isn't it, for anybody? I think musically, I think everybody's got that intent, haven't they, after a certain point that they try and do that. But yeah, that's probably what I'm trying to do at the minute, man. So that's, yeah, I suppose technically, stop picking like a madman all the time. That's probably what it is, man.
Start with Paul Gilbert exercise.
I did put, Paul Gilbert, man. Yeah, that was a big, I think Sean Lane as well. I learned loads of his solos, like note for note there. Which one, man?
Power licks and power solo. So to you know the lessons, the video lessons.
Yeah. Remember that? Like Get You Back solo as well. That was quite a big one. I think that's a bit. And that was more like legato-y stuff, wasn't it? I think he does. But yeah, that was quite a big thing. But yeah, Paul Gilbert stuff. I used to learn like Scarified and that sort of stuff all the time. It was more like alternate. But now I try and use like it's like a cross between more economy. Yeah. But I could do the alternate thing now. I can do everything. I can pick everything up, alternate picked and economy. But I love the economy sound though. It's really like that sweeping sound. I love that, especially in jazz. I mean, like a Gambale sort of thing. I mean, that's fucking great, especially even on the alternate pick lines. It's really cool. Like, it's just trying to sort of makes it flow more, which I quite like. I dig that vibe, and it's easier on your hand as well, so you can pick like a madman for longer, which is really good.
Next question. What tips helped you for developing a more jazzy and outside guitar playing? Just transcribing, maybe?
Transcribing is the big one. It definitely is. Just I think another big advice is just listen to anything Scott Henderson's done. Really, it's just like a big. I think he's the guy with that sort of thing, man. Yeah, I think transcribing ideas and just knowing where to use them is a big thing. So like knowing how to get back inside again. And I think even seeing it as outside, inside as well, that can be quite limiting. I think if you just see it as like improvising and like you're using like light and shade almost. So it's like you're building drama, aren't you, when you go outside? You're sort of trying to put people on edge. So you need to like work out when you can do that in the solo. So I usually put that stuff in at the start, or maybe just a little bit after the start when you like ease people in, and then you can start putting a few ideas that sort of prick people's ears. Do you know what I mean? Maybe like sidestepping or using some lick you've transcribed or something like that, just to ease people into what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Where it's picking up energy. I think you can start putting those sorts of ideas in there, and that's what I usually do when I'm soloing anyway. I think it's good to do it at like a point where it's building as well. So for the build, it takes off even more once you've put a load of outside idea or some outside ideas to build tension. Then you sort of release it. You release it, and you get people back in again. But I mean, because it's can be unlistenable when you just hear somebody just playing outside all the time, all the way through it. Sometimes it gets a bit grating on you, doesn't it? Like depending on how well your ears developed. I mean, some people love it, don't they? I mean, that's like the thing they do. But I think if you play gigs regularly and stuff like that, if you do that on a solo, you're not going to get booked again. It's true, depending on what sort of music you're playing. It's going to be a tougher sell. But Yeah, man, just have fun with that. I think it's cool as well. I think transcribing really comes in handy with doing outside stuff because it's only a short space of time. You do that really, isn't it? That's like you can make that acceptable. I think if you get the great players and you transcribe their lines, it's almost like a game. How many can you transcribe and how many can you get into your playing and how many can you have on hand, do you know what I mean, at a time at a certain part of the fretboard or the wherever you're playing. If you've got like ideas all over the fretboard that you transcribe, then you've got places to go if you want to go there. I think that's a really good way of doing it, but you've always got to try and learn how to resolve it. I think that's the big thing as well. It's an important thing. So whatever you transcribe, always transcribe the resolve as well, not just the outside line. So if you Scott Anderson solo, he goes outside, learn how he's inside, then he goes outside, then learn how he gets back in again. So if you learn that all as a phrase and like the outside bit's the middle, that's a really good way of doing it. I think that's how a lot of these guys who get really good at doing that fast, they do that. That's the best way of doing it. So just always, because I know sometimes you see like people put outside licks on YouTube, don't they? But they just put like the outside lick on, don't they? And that's it. They don't put like the musical context of that lick, which is like really cool as well, isn't it? Like that coming back inside again. That's like really, really cool because it just like, it puts a full stop, doesn't it, on what you just done musically. I think that's the best way of doing that. I feel like people like Robin Ford, like I've done a lot of transcribing of his stuff, and he does that. He's like a master at doing that, like going outside for a short second and then bringing it back in again. And obviously Scott Anderson, just anybody like that, man. I think if you transcribe them, just see it as like, yeah, there's the initial stage when they're inside, then how they go outside, then how they bring it back in again. If you transcribe that all as a line, then you know when you go to that place, you've got somewhere to go, and you've got some home ground to go to. I think that's a really good way of doing it. That's usually the way I do it anyway. But
Okay, nice. Musical projects. What was your first band?
My first band. It's probably some like covers band when I was like 12 or something like that. I think we used to play Metallica covers, and it's just me and a drummer. To be honest, it wasn't really a band, but yeah, it was a really good drummer, the same age as me. But we used to just play like Enter Sandman about 20 times, and that was it. That was probably the first band, just doing that. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to get confident in front of people. And I had a band at school as well, where we just played covers as well. And I sort of freaked them out because I discovered Guthrie, and then we had to play like Wonderful Slippery Thing all the time instead of doing it. Yeah, that was it, man. Really, yeah, just playing like meters covers and stuff like that. We used to do a lot of that, like Sissy Strut and that sort of stuff. So a lot of that sort of funky stuff, and yeah, that sort of vibe.
Okay. What was your first professional project?
Yeah, professional. It's probably working with Strawberry Break, those guys. I think that was like the proper, really like professional thing, even though we're sort of semi-professional in our way we go about it, but it's definitely on that sort of level. But yeah, I hooked up with those guys because the bass player, he lives in the town I'm in, and we did a gig one time, and I stepped up with this band he was playing in, and afterwards it just sounded really good with us playing together. So we're just like, oh, we need to get a band, and I gigged with the drummer and singer quite a bit before that, and we met, and he really dig my playing. He's like, shit, we've got to do something. So we sort of just put two and two together and just started recording. And most of those songs we did, it was just like one takes we did, and we come up with them on the day. I mean, like we help write lyrics and stuff like that and do that sort of stuff. But we've done a few sessions since then. We did one recently for like a signed guy. But yeah, because it's his studio, the drummer studio where we record at and where we did all the stuff pretty much. But we didn't do too many gigs with that. But we just tried to make it like a session band instead. So where an artist could come in and record with a band instead of recording with a bunch of random people. So there's like more of a chemistry there to playing with a band, and then you can sort of get a sound straight away. If you like what we're doing, we can sort of add that to you pretty much, and it's working all right so far. But it's really cool, man. It's good to be on your toes when you're working with people and stuff like that. When you drop a load of music on you and then you've got to try and interpret it. It's just the best way of doing it, especially if you've got people you can bounce off as well, which is really, really cool. But yeah, they're probably the first proper band that I've worked with, to be honest. And we've been doing it for quite a few years now, so yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, next question. What musical projects are you working on at the moment?
At the moment, I'm trying to work on my own. Like, I know I've been really, really slow, and I've been procrastinating a lot over like this lockdown period, especially with videos and stuff. But I just had a bit of a break from Instagram. And they got like just try to play guitar for me instead. Do you know what I mean? And gigging and stuff like that, trying to get back into the swing of it. But I will definitely be posting very, very soon again. I'll be doing a lot of stuff. But I've been working on an EP with this American producer, this guy called Mike Dean. He's a really, really, really talented guy, insanely talented. But I did a few solos for some of his projects, and he's sort of producing my album at the minute. And we're doing some good progress, to be honest. It sounded really good. I mean, some bits sounding good, some bits sound quite DIY, but you can't expect like the best thing for the first. You just got to sort of accept it. And I've got like quite a lot of programmed drums on it and stuff, so I've been trying to learn to make that sound good. But yeah, I've been working on that quite a bit, and I've got like maybe 7 or 8 tracks together with some bits off like videos I put up before of snippets of tracks, which some people that you liked and a few others liked. Like I've tried to turn them into fully fledged songs, which sound pretty good because they're already really good ideas anyway, or good going up to a point. So I just been trying to turn them into fully fledged songs, really. Just as a bit of a, it's more about like I think with that sort of music, people want to hear you play a bit, don't they? And build and so they can transcribe some lines and stuff like that. So, but there's some decent tunes there. I've tried to make them musical as well. And but yeah, just we're working on that, and then I was working on a project as well with a trio I'm doing, where we're gigging a little bit with doing some of the tunes I'm doing, and doing some covers, doing like loads of weather report stuff and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I've just been doing that, and I've been working with this other band as well. This blue band called I've put some videos up before called the Chris Bevington Organisation. We got a gig this week actually. So I've got some gigs on with those guys. Been working with them as well. That's more like blues and funk really.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all good fun really. So I've been doing that at the minute. But yeah, just trying to stay positive during this this really weird time. So yeah.
Okay, nice. Do you have a project that you would like to do in the future?
Yeah, anything that pays decently. I don't know, man. I'd love to. It'd be cool to work with like a really, really like well-known artist or something like that, or maybe like I don't know, somebody like Jacob Collier or somebody like that. Do you know what I mean? Somebody who's like in that sort of bracket. It'd be really cool to play guitar for them or do something like that. I don't think I could. I don't think I could keep up with that guy, to be honest, because he's just an absolute, absolute monster, man. But yeah, I'd love to work with like another guitar player or something. Somebody like who I like, just anything like that. I'd like to do like a joint effort album or something. But yeah, I think doing a session for a big artist or something, I'd love to do that. Really work on that. That'd be really, really cool. Just trying to find a way out trying to do that and get your name out there more, just to try and get those opportunities really. But yeah, I'd love to work. Yeah, I don't know really, man. Just anybody really who'd be up for doing something. I mean, try and keep open to anything, because you got to. I think in this day and age, it's tough sometimes to get like a project you want to do. You just got to try and make the best out of whatever you're doing, and just try and put as much heart into it as you can do, and just hopefully it comes out good. I think that's the best thing of doing it. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a tough business to be in at the minute because it's just like just non-existent to a certain degree, especially around some places. I don't know how are you going on over this. Are you doing all right? Do you play in a band or are you working?
No.
Right.
I just play in my bedroom.
Yeah, man, it's the best way of doing it. Yeah.
I just try to for the last 5 to 8 years. I just try to play like Sean Lane.
Yeah.
That's my only objective. But I work on a music shop, so
Right. Brilliant. At least you're
playing
around
them.
music. Yeah. That's great, man. Yeah. It's tough, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Which musician or singer would you dream to working with?
Musician. I'd love to work with. Can I do a musician and a singer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Musician. I think. To be honest, in a minute, I'd love to work with Mark Letary. That'd be really cool. And I think it may be possible in the future. I don't know yet, but like that'd be really cool. Yeah. I think we could get on really well musically. I think it'd work pretty cool.
Absolutely.
I think it'd work. Yeah, I think it'd work cool. I think singer. Also with this guy called Mark Hollis. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
Used to be in a band in the 80s called Talk. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Toto?
Yeah, Talk. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of those guys.
Some CDs.
Man. Yeah, man. I fucking love to work with that guy, man. He was just he was on another level, man.
With Steve Lukather?
I don't think Steve was on it. Robbie McIntosh was. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a really great 80s. I'm like super into 80s stuff. Sting as well, man. I would have loved to work with Sting. That'd have been really cool. I'm really into that stuff. Yeah, those guys probably.
Nice. How do you start to play with Strawberry Rubric and the Soul Rock Orchestra?
Again, like I said earlier on, it was just through meeting people on gigs. Really, just trying to get out there and do any gig possible. Because if you do any gig, I'll bet you'll meet somebody. It'll come good. I think I was just doing like a covers gig with this local singer, and then Scott was on drums for the gig, and we just hit it off straight away. It was just that vibe, and they were on the same page. So that's the way to meet people. I think the Soul Rocket guys, they got in touch with me through that pretty much because they were like, well, we really like you playing, so we'd like to do some sessions on our work. It's the same with anything, man. Really, I mean, it's like a rolling effect. Like the more people you meet, the more opportunities you get. I think that's how it works. I mean, it doesn't depending on like your level and where you're at. I think if people like playing with you and you're a nice person and you bring a good energy, you'll get more offers, man. Seriously, man, you should do it. It's just try and hook up and go to a jam night or anything like that, and just try and meet people, and you'll get opportunities, and you'll get some positive through it. And that's the only way to do it in this business, really. Because if you try and do it online, it's like it's more impersonal, especially if people don't know you. So you need that element of social interaction to get an opportunity properly. I think that's the best way of doing it. That's the best. It's good if you get on with somebody, they'll want to work with you, and if you're really good as well, it's like it's the win-win. Really, it just works. And that's the way I've got any gig. Really, it's always been through knowing people or getting asked to do stuff. It's never been trying to get the gig. It's always been through an opportunity. So that's just the way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diverse questions. Top 3 favorite albums.
Trying to boil it down to 3 is tough one, but yeah, I think it's either like Venus Isle by Eric Johnson. I think that was a massive one growing up. That was especially I just loved how like Manhattan and things like that. Just like his music was composition. It was more music than it was guitar playing, but the guitar playing facilitated the music in a way. So it's like it's just a win. I really like 7:30 by Weather Report as well. If you've heard that live album,
Oh yeah,
that was a really big one. Yeah, that was a inspirational one as well. I mean, just love Jacko's playing on that. That was massively inspiring.
Yeah, and you played Black Market.
Yeah, on a live stream or something.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Oh, nice one. Thank you. The sound must have been rubbish on that though, because I think I was using my old phone and it was just terrible. Must have sounded awful.
You should record more of this anyway.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
Very nice.
I'm going to definitely. What else? Yeah. It's like another one as well. I think for the blues, it's probably In Step by Stevie Ray Vaughan. That was a big one as well. So I love this playing on that. I mean, just how effortless his phrasing was, and just how on it he was, and how emotional his playing was, and just how perfect everything he played was just had a point and it hit you. Do you know what I mean? I think that was a big one as well. So maybe those three for now, but I've got about 200, so I can't say them all. Maybe those three just off the top of my head. But.
Okay. What is your best musical memories that you would like to share?
Best musical memories. I don't know, man. There's so many. I think I try and like take it a day at a time. Like, probably getting paid for the first ever gig was really, really cool. Do you know what I mean? Where you could actually, but yeah, I think musical memories, is that like on your own or like playing with other people? Is that like discoveries? Is that like improving and stuff like that? Is it, or I don't know. I think learning the power of transcribing as well, that was a big thing. I think out of university, that was like a huge thing, as I didn't really do it as much before then. I think, especially in jazz, I think I had like a connection point where I could like totally connect every idea I've got. Like I had a point where I just like got, I mean, pretty decent, really, really quick at doing that. I think it was just a point of just learning that. That was really, really good, and that really helped a lot musically. But yeah, I think definitely just getting paid, man, just getting out there and trying to do music with anybody. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you like the person musically you're playing with. I think that was just good. Anytime I get that opportunity to do that, it's brilliant, man. It's amazing. Like, it's the best thing you could do. It's the best thing you could wish for. Especially if you can put your own slant across and people like what you're doing. That's amazing to me. Like, people like you and stuff like that actually give a shit about what I'm doing, man. That's just really, it means a hell of a lot to me. Seriously, it's anything like that, man. Just anything like that. It's really, really good. Yeah.
Great. Last question. Where can we listen to your music and how can you support you?
You can't listen to me on music yet, but in a short time I should have something out, or a few different things, a few different EPs. Yeah, so keep a lookout for them. That's probably next year now, to be honest, but hopefully getting stuff finished. You can support us by subscribing to my YouTube channel, or subbing me on Instagram. And those are the only two platforms I really use. I don't really use Facebook. On YouTube, man, yeah.
On SoundCloud too, you have some...
Oh yeah, I've got SoundCloud, yeah, I've got some tunes on there, yeah. I usually just put up random live snippets or some like old demos and stuff like that. Yeah, go on there as well. Yeah, I've got some stuff on there, so some weird stuff. But, yeah, on there, or yeah, mainly Instagram though, really. I don't really use Facebook that much. We've got a Facebook page if you want to check that out as well. Or buy Strawberry Breaks EP. That'll support us as well. That's you've got some stuff on there. Anything like that, man. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I appreciate your time though, man. Thank you. Dale, thank you very much.